That means we're getting pretty close here, of course, to the end of it. But with that said, at the same time, still plenty of matches to be played. 6 in total from each of these 2 days coming at you over this Saturday and Sunday. So anyways, point being, some good Han this weekend. With that said, to kick it off here for today, a little bit of a delay, to apologize for that, but we're able to get at least the issue resolved in the sense of we are going to be seeing a ringer here on one of the sides. But the matchup that we're looking at is, of course, Bad Monkey Gaming going up against 2-0. Now this is Revolution here, or what we used to know them as Revolution, but they did officially name change to what is 2-0. So not exactly sure the reasoning behind it, but hey, they requested it, and so we'll do our best to start calling them that. But again, just for clarification, formerly Revolution. Anyways, point is, this really should be a good series here, as these two teams, of course, BMG, always a solid team. You see currently with the 5 points. But 2-0, a little bit of the surprise here. Even with another loss on Thursday, they still have 9 points, currently sitting in that second-place spot. So we'll see. We'll see how they do against BMG here today. Anyways, I am, of course, joined by a co-caster, and I'm going to introduce him now. So somebody I haven't had on yet, and looking forward to co-casting here today. I'm going to be joined by Ragroste, a sixth man, you can call him, for complexity. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How about you, Breaky?
I'm doing terrific. It's Halloween after all, and I got plans later tonight, but for the daytime, at least here in America, I'm gonna cast some Han, so I'm excited for that. So what about you?
I don't know what I'm doing tonight. I'm still waiting for a phone call.
Right on. Okay, well, we'll see. Anyways, holy crap, man! I do that. I ramble on, and then before you know it, both sides have their team ready to go. So let's go ahead and start looking at these teams here. See what we're dealing with. Okay, the initial bans, what were they? They were Hellbringer, Tremble, Behemoth, and Swiftblade. We had then Gladiator into Magnus, Torture into Rhapsody, Lodestone into Wild Soul, and now we see it was Malakin into Lord Salforus, and then now Deadwood to finish off here for BMG. But a lot to absorb here, kind of just on the fly. But the Gladiator, that first pick, is no doubt the kind of the head scratcher. But what is your take on this draft here?
It's actually a pretty good draft. They kind of built a draft that would give Wild Soul problems. The massive AoE when he's in bear form always, does so much damage to him. So they kind of just literally built the team around killing the Wild Soul. And it'll work if they do it properly.
Yeah, but what about that Gladiator first pick? I mean...
Oh, first pick Glad, that's right.
Yeah, well, that's not your everyday thing here.
Well, that is... Oh. So, I guess I don't think 2-0 plays it.
Oh, they do.
They do play it?
Yeah, they definitely do. Pexu actually plays a damn good Gladiator. He actually even jungles Gladiator a little bit, which is pretty interesting to watch. But
that might have been the stolen pick then.
Yeah.
They didn't want him to have it, and they didn't want to use it as a ban, so they figured they'd just take it themselves.
Again, that really is respect right there, though. To take such an odd hero that we usually don't see like a lot of. I mean, it's not like the most odd hero, but he's also not seen the most times. But to first pick it to prevent them from getting it, yeah, that is something. But how about that too? Bubble's a final pick, but again, that's not even really the unorthodox one necessarily. That Lord Salforus coming out here for 2-0. Lord Salforus definitely a unique pick. What do you think the logic is behind the Lord Salforus here?
It's the same thing. It's for Wild Soul. You ulti Wild Soul. He can't, the massive lifesteal that he gains from his abilities and going the Abyssal, he doesn't have that lifesteal anymore, so he becomes much squishier. So it's actually a really good pick against Wild Soul, too.
Here's the problem. He's on his team.
I'm so confused. The pick and ban phase went by so fast. Oh, it's for Malakin then. Okay. Yeah, okay. We're good here.
We're good.
I see the heroes now. They're right in front of me. It's for Malakin. Okay.
It's early still. You're on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm in California, so I get a little bit of a break here.
You just woke up. I'm like, hey, you want to cast for the first time ever? So I can understand. It happens.
Give me a little break just for today. Well, just for the first series.
I'll just allow it for the time being. Any more screw-ups, so I'm ending the call, all right?
That makes sense. I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't even be mad at you.
No, it'll be fine. All right, so we got the laning phase, though, kind of break it out right here, of course. You do mention a Wild Soul in the hands of Squirry, actually. Now, again, this is really interesting. We actually saw this Who were they playing on Thursday? They were playing. God, let me double check real quick because it's going to bother me if I don't check. They were playing Sync. That's right. They played Sync Esports. They did lose to them 2-0 in the end. But Squirry actually was playing not the carry for the team. I mean, this is a guy that is really come to be like known as the carry player. Now, to be fair, he is on Wild Soul, so Wild Soul, of course, with a carry presence, just in the jungle though, so a little bit different. But in the end, I guess it is still a carry of the team. So. We do see that here, but they're also gonna short lane South Forest as well, which I find interesting here.
I'm not really sure what their reasoning is behind short laning the South Forest. I guess they just want the farm on it as fast as they can, because it still seems odd though, because he can farm the jungle almost as fast as Wild Soul can, because they both hit their peak when they hit level 5. So it's kind of a little interesting that they picked two heroes that kind of do the exact same thing in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah, as you mentioned, though, that Lord South Forest was in response to the Malakin, so it's kind of like that case of we want this hero, even though when it comes to laning, it may not necessarily be the most ideal, but it is good against Malakin, as you were pointing out there. That, of course, preventing the lifesteal. Any hero that has any kind of regen relying on it, Malakin definitely one of those. His ultimate is very powerful again. So I guess it's just a case of they're settling with what they got here coming out. So.
And Root of Z is jungle pulling, so that's always fun to watch. I love watching that.
Oh, yeah, he's playing the Gladiator. How about that? Okay.
Yeah, I just noticed that. So, yeah, he's jungle pulling, and he's doing it right. So that's always good.
Yeah, BMG very familiar with this strategy. You can definitely give them credit for being the ones to, of course, even kind of bring it into the competitive scene. Earlier on in Season 3, obviously. So, yeah, doing the jungle pull there on the Gladiator. Malakin, of course, in the hands of Balthazar. As we did mention, again, where there's so much there, it's happening so quickly, but they are using a ringer. You might notice Boxy is not here. Solo Volca stepping in. Boxy was having internet issues, so he was planning to play today, but for whatever reason wasn't able to connect, so they had to set up for a ringer. Hopefully, for their sake and, honestly, entertainment. I mean, he is a fun player, so he can show back in game number 2, but we'll see how this Solo Volca does. I don't know if you have any experience with this guy in TMM or anything, but...
No, I actually have never seen him, even when I queue EU TMM, so it'll be fun to watch. It's always nice to see a new player.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely a player yourself. We kind of were able to experience for recently your complexity, so... how is it as a player? You kind of have that experience stepping in as a sixth man and, like, kind of just on the fly. Is it a little nerve-wracking, would you say, or are they just good buddies, so you're like, we're just playing here?
You know what? I've known them all for a pretty long time, so it's more fun than it is. It's just more of what am I going to play when I go ring for them.
Okay.
I just never know.
Depending on who's missing, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. That takes talent right there. That means you're the most talented then, because you could step in any role.
They would not tell you that.
All right. All right, so how is it looking as far as farm growth? I always like to take a look at the middle matchup especially, and no different here. You got Bubbles versus Deadwood. Deadwood currently 16-3, Bubbles 11-1. So Deadwood having the better time here. Is that something that you would expect, a hard-hitting Deadwood to have the advantage?
Yeah, it's just kind of annoying for Bubbles to LS hit a Deadwood that has like 95 attack damage, level 2. So it's not the most fun for Bubbles, but I mean, it's just a matter of harassing him out of lane, and if he does it properly, then he could win the mid matchup.
Yeah.
Just kind of,
Uh-oh. He might be in trouble, though. Magnus coming in. Lava Surge stun. Bubbles only level 4, but look at this. Gladiator, what a pitfall. Turns it with the Rotten Grasp. And now Torture even joins the party. This is going to be a blowout for the Legion team unless STST. Oh my gosh, he's actually going to get away. I thought for sure that was at least one, if not both. And they managed to escape right there. Yeah, it sounds like you're surprised too.
Yeah, that was they used everything properly. They used all the spells at the right time. They didn't stack very, maybe like 0.2 seconds of stacking, but that was every spell used properly, and they still live. But that's pretty interesting.
Magnus, so trying to set up that kill early on and coming up short though. He's the Suicide Magnus, of course. So, what do you think of that? I mean, should he be looking to move like that to set up kills, or I mean, he's matched up against Malakin here at the bottom lane, which could do pretty good for him. But I guess Torture was down there as well, kind of boxing him out. So.
Yeah, and Malakin's very good against melee heroes. The sword throw does an enormous amount of damage early game, so if he gets hit by one sword throw, he's almost dead by itself. So it's kind of hard for him to lane down there by himself.
Yeah. You see right here, as soon as it comes back in, immediate harassment from Malikin.
Gets hit once and half his HP's gone.
Yeah, that'll happen. Top lane, Lodestone manages to escape right there, actually. Bubbles middle lane is going to go down. Make credit for the blow. Was that a ult? No, he's only level 5, actually. So
Yeah, it was just a pitfall. He hit the blind pitfall without the W. So that's going to be a kill every time if they land that.
well played. So, well, except the last time.
Yeah, except that time when everything was set up properly. But who knows?
I guess you always get once. So, top lane, Tower's taking a lot of good pressure right here. You see Lord South Forest and wraps it in. Here comes Wild Soul even as well. So, Wild Soul, oh, by the way, he's definitely one of these heroes that's like, if you almost, obviously, especially within the jungle, we see most of that with these Wild Soul players. You kind of like forget about it for like a couple minutes, and all of a sudden you look back at the stats, and he's like 500 gold per minute. So he's 300 right here. Obviously not taking off crazy just yet, but safe to say you probably want to at least check on him, address him a couple of times. I mean, do you expect this Legion team to put some pressure as middle lane? Oh, what a silence there! Right before he got hit. Now the chase still continues, though. Deadwood eventually does chase him down with that haste rune, and will get the kill. The TP, whoever that was, is going to cancel. Not worth it at that time, so good kill once again. As top lane, Lodestone. You see that too? He pops a Shatterstorm. Maybe to tank up. Nope, not enough either. And he'll go down. Well, a couple of kills happening. But yeah, back to the original question there. Should they address Wild Soul here coming up?
It's really hard to address that hero. It's because once he gets going and becomes something you can't stop. So the earlier you stop him, the better. But they really didn't address him too often here, or at all really. And he's already 450 GPM and level 7 at 6. So that's gonna it's gonna become a problem real quick now.
Bottom lane, Magnus. He's trying to make an escape right here. Lava Surge in 1 more second. We'll use it. Go the other way. Sword throw going to get close enough for the range. He does have the ulti for. He needs to be careful to die himself. He's going to end up dying most likely. Pelican will go down. Oh, and the torture also fell. That has to be, well, I don't know what that is, but BMG, that did not go as planned.
No, but you got to give credit there to STST. He kept fogging the Malikan, going back and forth in between those trees, and Malikan could never get that last hit off. So that's, it's a very, very well played by him to even, get into that situation to live and then get the double kill.
That is huge, and that's also one of those plays too. In the case of your BMG, especially, that's gotta be frustration, man, and it's gotta tilt you a little bit. You're already playing with a ringer here, kind of last minute. Not to say to make excuses for them, but that in itself is always going to throw you off at least a little bit. And then to have a play like that take place earlier on, that's not good. Middle lane though, this will help get that momentum back. Bubbles did not stand a chance there. Invis Deadwood, the reason for that. They're trying to set up a turn, but no. Not going to happen here. So, well played. How is... God, it's funny, because we were just talking about Wild Soul and how you just kind of forget about it and you look back, he's just crazy GPM. Oh, by the way, he's 470 gold per minute. Bottom lane Malikan, he's probably dead right here. Eruption, it's just out of range, kind of. He's still getting some damage from it, and down goes Baltazar. So, how about that rotation from Lord South Forest, who, by the way, is 420 plus gold per minute here. What's going on, man?
And Wild Soul just took triple to Ancients, and now he's over 500. So it's getting a little bit out of hand here real quick.
How scary is Lord South Forest, you think? We know Wild Soul can be scary. Well, how scary is Lord South Forest with this farm?
South Forest, well, because I play with What You Got, and he's kind of the one that plays it all the time. I always see him play it. It's very scary when he gets, a tablet into a sheep stick, and now at 21 minutes he has a tablet and a sheep stick, and he's running around killing everything. It becomes a threat real fast.
We'll see what Pexu does here in the South Forest. So tablet, sheep stick. Yeah, I mean, it seems like that it can be kind of preference style. I know Lord South Forest also has that mentality of the hero, more of like you could build like a raw tank, really, like a demonic breastplate, Behemoth Star, things like that, to just constantly be in the front line. So, but would you like to see that tablet, the sheep stick, more or less support as utility?
I think it's going to depend because now he is short laning, but I mean, the sheep stick's never bad. Oh, bottom.
Here comes the action. Lava Surge in. The call to arms hit one here on the back. Remember, it does play the buff, though. Protective Melody. That was a huge one right there. However, still get the kill on Magnus as well as Rhapsody. Lodestone will go down to that South Forest nuke. Here runs in Deadwood, though. He finds Lord South Forest, and South Forest is going to be picked off. And now Bubble's also going to fall. Bad Monkey Gaming, the biggest thing here There was 5 players for them. There was only 4 for 2-0. Guess who wasn't there? It was the Wild Soul, who was farming away in the jungle. So that was no doubt the crucial part of that fight there at the bottom.
Yeah, but he is farming though, so there is that. He is still farming.
Okay, that's true.
He's going to become a threat. In probably about probably like 5-6 minutes when he picks up either the firebrand and whatever he decides to go is when he'll be at his strongest. So hopefully that's when they decide to fight as a team.
Yeah.
And not throw like that.
That would not be good, but stepping up the game definitely. Maka here, over 500 goal per minute. That's not often you see a Deadwood this high GPM in the game. A little on this earlier on. Portal Key going to be picked up, of course, and he even had another 500 gold saved up. So safe to say he's really taking care of business here, and he's going to be kind of control. It seems like Deadwood is a pretty good hero to have against, in general, tankier heroes, especially like a Wild Soul to an extent. So.
Yeah, definitely is. Definitely. And Deadwood's always been a strong hero against, the strength initiator, or, just strength heroes in general. But, he was a little too weak, but now that they gave him that little extra buff, he's definitely viable again.
Look at this, South stealing the Ancients on the Legion side. Trying to, at least. Uh-oh. Deadwood, he's going to find him, though. Oh, boy, even going to wait a little bit for Torture to come over. No Willowmaker needed, was just coming off cooldown. Didn't need it anyways. Easy kill on Apexi, so that's what happens when you get a little greedy sometimes.
He did get all the Ancients, though.
Did he actually get all of them? Okay, or some of them,
yeah. I think he missed one. I think he missed one from Torture, but
okay.
He did get most of them.
Yeah, you're a bright side kind of guy.
Yeah, you got to look at the positives of every situation, because otherwise, you'll just get tilted so easily.
Fair enough, fair enough. We do see Malik in Whispering Helm. Speaking of bright, speaking of positive here for the Legion team, he's obviously off to a very strong start, and I want to say he's probably about something else too. I mean, he's over 380 gold per minute. Maybe not. We are still pretty early on, but well on his way to looking pretty strong here. Do you think he needs a Shrunken next, or should he get the Insanitarius first?
This game, it's kind of they are full magic damage on that Hellborn team. It's not a bad idea. I mean, Insane is kind of core on the hero though. So I think it's just going to be up to him if he thinks his team can be a good enough supporting cast to protect him without him having a Shrunken. But if he doesn't think that, then yeah, he should go straight for the Shrunken.
Deadwood top lane. Can he actually make the TP out? No, he cannot. Make will fall right there as SCSD gets credit for the kill. Not too sure how that ultimately kind of started, but guessing that he was simply trying to find a kill and ended up getting collapsed on by multiple heroes there. Wild Soul, by the way, we got to talk about this here. Again, I've mentioned this many times. I'll keep reiterating here. Wild Soul's really one of these heroes, whether it's because he's still kind of breaking into the scene a little bit, but, man, we see so many different item pickups on this hero from player to player, and Squeary going the Alchemist Bones route, so what is your take?
I think it's a good choice. I mean, there's no Parasite in the game, but it's just going to ramp his GPM up so high. It's like, he's already, what is he, almost 600 GPM at this point, so... It's, I am curious to see, oh, he goes the Abyssal, okay. So, even against, the Wild Soul, it is a good pickup here. I agree with it. They have a lot of melee with the South Forest.
They got a lot of physical, too, on the Legion side. So
yeah.
The armor there in general is definitely a solid choice coming out here for Squeary. My question is, Alchemist Bones... Why Alchemist Bones over as actually middle lane Magnus? He's going to be jump bubbles, trying to get here in time. Lava Surge, here comes Rhapsody. We'll get hit by that pitfall, though. However, kind of a reset here from the Legion team. Wild Soul is nearby, though. Again, you look at that level 13, 3 levels higher than anyone else on the Legion side right now. So he is a deadly target here.
You see 13 at 13 minutes, and it's
absurd.
It's pretty intimidating.
Yeah. That is
you just don't want to fight into that.
Hell, even Lord South Forest is level 11, which is still higher than anyone on the Legion team right now. So, experience looking pretty good overall here. I'll lose triple stack Ancients for Malakin. This is going to be good for him there. What was I talking about, though? Oh, yeah, so Wild Soul, why Alchemist Bones over the Thunderclaw, though? If there's a Parasite in the game, obviously, again, that would make a lot more sense, but why it over Thunderclaw?
I mean... Maybe the reasoning is he knows Malakin's going to go Whispering Helm. Well, dead. Malakin's going to go Whispering Helm. Maybe he's thinking he's going to bring it into a team fight eventually, and he can just outbones it. But I mean, even then, I'm not 100% sure. I would think the Thundercall would be better this game,
Yeah.
but you know, it's so hard with Wild Soul because no one, still pretty new. No one has like a definite item choice on that hero yet.
Yeah, exactly. It really still kind of feels like that. They're feeling out this hero, but truly is a powerful one. By the way, right there, Ruda Z thought he was being sneaky, but they knew exactly where he was, it seemed like, and they also get the tower kill on top of that. So, man, 2-0. Other than that bottom fight that went well in favor of BMG, and this has been all 2-0 here. And Wild Soul, you know, that was great, too, because, you know, like I said, you're a positive guy. The positive you did make of that bottom fight was that, well, Wild Soul was still farming. And, man, we're really seeing that. I mean, he is just getting insane here already. And it's almost smurfing how well Lord Southforce is also doing at 430 gold per minute with that tablet. And, of course, this is another power of a Abyssal Skull and a Wild Soul with farm. It's Kongor. He'll go down pretty easily here.
Yeah. And Southforce did end up going to the tablet first item, so I'm assuming he's going to see the... Oh, ow.
Nice
a consolation prize.
Yeah.
Losing Congo.
Yeah, there you go. Got bubbles at least. So, but yeah, you mentioned the tablet, and he actually gets a token too. How about that?
Oh, they didn't give it to Wild Soul. Not really sure the reasoning behind that of not giving it to Wild Soul, but I guess they just want him to spam his Q in team fights and get, you know, high damage. I don't know. I don't know that decision. It seems like a little bit of an odd one.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to reset capability, I guess he's all right, but so is Wild Soul for that matter. You know, he's not really somebody that has these long cooldowns that are not going to be up, so.
Yeah, and even then he builds his hero, so I don't know. It just seems odd they didn't give it to the Wild Soul. I mean, I guess he didn't want to drop his TP or his investments. I don't know. You just never know. It seems kind of one of those odd things.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to have to say, well,
there you go.
Interesting choices by interesting people. All right, bottom lane. This tower, it's definitely going to take a lot of pressure here. Probably going to be easily killed in the end. Looks like Wild Soul is going that shrunken head here. You know, we were mentioning this is a pretty heavy physical team, but there, as usual, is still plenty of stun lockdown, and the shrunken head will be useful. I think it's safe to say. So, you think the shrunken should be a good follow? I mean, I guess it's not guaranteed shrunken. It could be an ice brand into a Frosted Skull too. So,
I don't really know if shrunken is like next for Wild Soul. He should go maybe for the Frost Wolf, but okay. I don't really think he should go for the Shrunken. It's not the best item choice he can come for, you know, get as a next item. Doesn't really have too much of a use.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, that kind of hit me late right there, but yeah, the more, even with you saying that, oh, well, we're both wrong.
I am totally okay with that item. That's a great item to have on Wild Soul.
Yeah.
For some odd reason, it feels like the hero bashes every hit when it's in ranged form.
It feels like that. Yeah, I know that has been brought up before. Malika gets caught, by the way. This is huge. Malika's going to go down. He does not have a buyback either. Oh, okay, he does. He does. Just barely, must be. At Lord Southforce, by the way. Well, good thing he had the token.
Yeah.
Ends up dying right there, but will come, of course, right back up. So, seems like 2-0 now. Already starting to knock on the door a little bit at nearly 18 minutes. Will they try to force a buyback? They're not going to.
I guess they're afraid of the lodestone setup with, you know, the Wombo combo that the Legion team has.
Yeah. That is scary. But yeah, back to that Brutalizer, exactly. It's in that range for him. It's supposed to be a little bit low. What is it, 15%, I want to say?
I think it's supposed to be 10.
Or 10% even? Yeah, 10%.
Yeah, 10%
chance, so.
It does feel like it's every hit, though. I've played against that hero so much, and it just really feels like it's every hit it bashes.
Yeah. Well, he does attack so fast, too, with that Frenzy or the Wild. Yeah, that also helps, of course. So, and yeah, having Alchemist Bones on top of that. So, definitely more positives there. And yeah, obviously, Brutalizer is one of those items too that will be pretty useful for fighting earlier on in the game. Which clearly there's plenty of that here. And speaking of it, Lord Southforce, wishing he had another token right here, gets found by Deadwood. And easy kill for Make in the end. So again, Make really has been a wrecking ball here, man. 7-1-1. At 426 gold per minute, so he's kind of been the early game carry, you could say, for the team. Keeping them in it here, but is it going to be enough?
Yeah,
though?
Yeah, he's trying to create space for his Malikan, but you know it's hard when his whole team's dying around the Malikan. But Malikan did go instant, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned that or not, but it's like I said, I think it was just up to him. So he does trust in his team, you know, to be his backup, and you know, for now, doesn't need the straight BKB.
Yeah. Yeah, another 1,000 gold saved up. Guessing the Shrunken Egg going to be next, of course. It's kind of that holy trinity, as I like to call it, of items here. So, going to be getting that, certainly. Sacrificial Stone, by the way, on Bubbles. You know, that goes back to that idea. A lot of physical here on the Legion side. That'll add to the Abyssal Skull armor that they're getting. So it's always good to see. You know, we do criticize from time to time teams not having items like that later on in the game, especially like a Souls, which, by the way, was just picked up by a Wild Soul, as I mentioned that. So they got it all.
Yeah, that 630 GPM is coming in handy now.
Yeah.
It's becoming a real threat. Ooh. It looks like Legion kind of wants to set up mid if they push up.
This is an interesting item choice on Lots of Force, by the way. The Void Talisman.
Oh, he did go. Well, I guess. Oh.
Well, we got initiation right here. Magnus. Oh, the Shatterstorm being channeled off to the side. He is going to jump on top of Magnus. Kinda? Not really. He actually runs away.
That was an awkward fight.
Yeah, that was one of those where both teams kind of made a play, didn't really follow it up, though. And they fell back. But Shatterstorm's down. Of course, they know this. And, oh, Malakin did use his ultimate as well. Wow.
Oh, he did. Okay. Well, this is a free tower for them. This is undefendable now for the Legion team. They just have to back off and defend base. Oh, and Sulfuros going the Void Talisman. He's against the full physical team, so it's really never a bad item choice. It's 1,400 gold that could have been put towards a sheep stick or whatever item he chooses to go. So it's not bad though. I don't think it's the worst item in the world he could have went.
It's definitely pretty interesting, again, to consider. I mean, I guess Lords of Forest isn't sitting here looking to auto-attack constantly, but, I don't know. You just wouldn't feel like he's a hero that Void Talisman you're going to see that necessarily.
It doesn't scream Void Talisman. It's just the hero itself just doesn't, but it's not the worst. If he makes it work in the middle of a team fight, he's getting focused and pops it, then, it'd be a great item pickup. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
I think this is definitely him reacting a bit to the Deadwood here. They're going to start that Maki's had.
Yeah.
Has been pretty good. So, hey, Void Talisman, pretty good counter to a Deadwood. In fact, holy crap, Rhapsody and Magnus also have one. Now kind of looking at it here. Seems like it's a theme here. Yeah, a lot of armor, Void Talismans. Must be some physical damage.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Malakin picked up his the second part of the Shrunken yet. But if he has, then he's only 400 gold off. I don't think he has only 400 GPM. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I still think he needs the Warhammer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I didn't actually see it myself, so we'll wait and see here if it's going to come shortly or not. But luckily for him, I guess, is that 2-0's not again looking to really break the base just yet. They are going to still reset here and get more farm. I guess it's probably safe to say get that demonic on a squirry here. Get the next tier item on Lord South Forest, right? Is probably where we're looking here before they try to break base.
Yeah, and probably wait for the token, because the token the timing of the token will probably be just around the time that they get all those items. So
it will be interesting if. Actually, Lord South Forest.
There.
Yep, he's going to be jumped. Void Talisman. He is going to be able to get it off. Magnus stuns in, so he's still alive because of that Void Talisman. Tablets away. In the end, he will eventually fall, though. But now here comes the counter setup. Although Wild Soul's not here, so I don't know if you want to fight this. If you're 2-0 right now, but it looks like they still are. Porting it is Wild Soul, so he is joining just very late. Song of the Sea coming out. That call to arms, and it's Magnus. He goes down. Here comes Wild Soul finally, a lot later than they would have liked. Torture will be picked up as a result, but the rest, I believe, should be able to get out of here. So definitely a victory there for BMG, you could call it, in that fight here. Lord South Force bought back, by the way.
Yeah, he did just buy. I think he bought back really late. I'm confused why he did buy back. I mean, it looked like everyone was out by the time he bought back. So I'm wondering if did they just want to push with it? I don't know. 2-0 making some interesting choices this game, but Bubbles also got his own Void Talisman.
God. Okay, Wild Soul definitely is not getting it, but
I hope not.
No, that would be weird. But 4 out of the 5 heroes having a Void Talisman really is something. Guess, again, it does make sense, though, really. It's Malakin, Deadwood, they're a lot of the damage here as this game is. I mean, they have been and they will continue to be, of course, all throughout it. And they majority physical, of course, so it really kind of makes sense when you look at it that way. We're going to mention here. I mean, so Lord South Forest, the buyback slowing him down a little bit, but still another 2,600 gold saved up. So still good. But yeah, so what I was getting at before that fight, though, was if they do happen to kill Congo again, as Deadwood, once again, looking for more opportunity here. He's going to be seen first, though, and will have to fall back from it as a result. Lord South4 is going to kind of scare him off now. Will they give the token to Wild Soul now, or will it still go to Lord South4 as I'm learning? A good point was brought up in chat about Wild Soul having it, in that when he dies, Boo Boo would die as well, I guess, and so...
Yeah, but even in that respect, everyone builds Wild Soul himself now. So the bear is kind of just, one swipe. It's not like it's a real crucial part to your hero anymore.
Yeah.
Once it gets past like 25 minutes now, it's not, the bear isn't, your main priority anymore. You don't really build it. So
True.
That's why it still makes sense to go Wild Soul, give Wild Soul the token.
All right, well, I'll have to wait and see when that happens. I assume he's going to be up in the next couple of minutes here, is Kongor. So 8,100 gold lead, 6,000 experience lead. Feeling pretty good right now for this Hellborn team. You do see the GPM charts. A lot of that, of course, on the Wild Soul continues to be the case. But again, Lord South4 has also continued to be really in that second place spot as well. It's just been very impressive farm on his part, as he does get the Blessed Orb here. So that Sheepstick most likely going to be on the way. Malikan, the continuous threat here for the Legion side, is still trying to finish that Shrunken Head even.
And Demonic was just finished on Wild Soul. It's getting a little bit scary here for the Legion team. They're almost running out of options at this point.
Will they be able to hold Kongor? Here's the question.
I don't even know if they really want to. It's kind of up to them, but I mean, if they choose to fight it, it's got to be a good fight. They have to land all their spells.
They definitely have a little bit of wombo combo, mentioned earlier. I mean, Lodestone, Gladiator, Malikan in the midst of it. It's not like the crazy Shockwave with on top of a Tempest Ultimate or anything like that, but it's still solid here. But they're not really even grouping up. Of course, there's 2-0, and yeah, it ends up being a pretty easy Conquer kill. Well, there's our answer. South4 does get it, yeah.
I mean, maybe they just think, well, at this point, it almost makes more sense because Wild Soul's so tanky that he's not going to die at this point. Mm-hmm. So this token makes more sense to give it to South4, but first one, maybe not so much.
See Make here at the bottom lane. He's chilling nearby, which I guess, does he have his, no, his Soul's Bork is set to offensive, so I was wondering if they're going to maybe pick up on that.
I don't think it shows on the creeps when it's when he's into this. I don't think it shows.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. Well, that's good at least.
Yeah.
Because that would not be, that'd be a bad way to get caught.
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate. So Make here is just going to keep the information up of whether or not they're actually pushing with this, and it looks like that is going to be the case. This is kind of what we expected. The Demonic here on Wild Soul. I guess they don't have the Sheepstick just yet. Well, okay, he just purchased it, so now that's flying out. They will have the Sheepstick on Lord South4, and they got the token. So especially once that courier gets here, I mean, this is really the timing that 2-0 has been aiming for. Now, they don't have the sheep just yet, so a little ambitious here as the Hellborn team, but they're going to give it a shot at least. With Lord South4, he's being pulled back here. Pops a Void Talisman, though, as he does, and makes the point that if you jump me, it's not going to be easy. All right.
Malikan did finish his Shrunken. So there is something there.
Yeah.
It's just not enough, though. He needs another big item.
Yeah, he needs damage.
Yeah, he needs something.
Rift Shards.
I was even gonna say maybe go the all-in Rift Shards build because he's not really gonna be able to farm enough to get a Demonic or get a big item like that. And even then, Deadwood almost has his. So.
Yeah. Yeah, the damage is definitely the way to go, and I think as obviously you mentioned, Soul's Demonic has already been taking care of Deadwood, so. Really the Rift Shards or the Savage Mace, I guess you could even argue, but that's also going to be a lot more expensive than at least the earlier on level Rift Shards here.
Yeah.
To at least have more of the immediate impact. So again, they'll probably feel it out with the pace of the game here as it continues. But they're going to need to protect this base somehow. Malikan does have a double damage rune, by the way. Here we go with the Shatter Storm. Protect him. Melody saving a little bit. Will eventually be stopped, though. Magnus in the midst of that. Wild Soul did go down here. The double damage Malikan, no doubt, doing work. Lord South4 is back up. Has his ulti currently on Malikan, but Malikan doesn't even need the lifesteal. He's doing plenty of damage, forcing them out. Magnus will start back in, but zero backup. Don't know what the plan is with that. He's going to try to run now. Lord South4 is going to TP out. Yep, he'll be good. Bubbles will as well. Magnus Not so lucky. STSD will go down to the end. A double damage Malikan. I don't think 2-0 was ready for that one there.
Nope, and that was a very good fight by Legion. They used all their spells properly. Lodestone got a 3-man ulti off, and then they just perfectly stacked all their spells on top of everyone. And that was a really good fight for being down this much. That was, the best they were probably going to get out of that fight. So, and they didn't lose their axe, and that's, that's important at this point.
Yeah, Wild Soul dropping quickly right there. You almost wonder if he's gonna. I mean, again, I guess if he's gonna try to go for a shrunken head now, but at the same time, maybe just getting that more tanky, and also it's damage resisting like the Frostos Skull probably makes more sense.
I actually think what killed him there is he was in bear form, so and his bear was right on top of him, so all of that AoE damage just was straight to him. So he has to be careful about that. There's times where it might just be better for him to sit in range form and just auto.
Yep.
He needs to be careful about his positioning in that regard.
Yeah, I think as a fight before the fight has actually just begun like that, I think you could argue sitting in range for him back from the bear probably makes a little more sense, or else that could happen. Or they get caught here, so Make, not even sure what that.
He blinked in on Magnus, and Magnus instantly.
The reaction there.
Okay. Yeah, instant. So it was a good reaction.
Good reaction was the intention with that meeting. All right. Meanwhile, Wild Soul continues to get more and more farm, 2,500 gold. So it's one thing to get a lot of farm. That's another thing to use it effectively. And obviously, again, going back to the last fight, drops still very quickly. Goes back to if he's next to his bear. Even as farmed as he is, you could definitely still do plenty of damage to kill him and take him out of the fight earlier on. So that's got to feel good for BMG knowing that as well. I mean, they're still down 12,000 gold and 8,300 experience. But after the last fight, it really feels like BMG has now even a much better shot here in this game. I guess just because of how well it went.
Yeah, exactly. It brought up their confidence a little bit. Like, we can still win this game. They had a token there, and then, we still almost won that fight. Well, they did win that fight, but I mean, they could have genocided without that token. So it's a big confidence boost, and that's a big thing in Han, is having confidence.
Yeah. You see Hellborn team not interested in trying to make a move once again just yet. I think this is going to be one of those games where get the token, then go for the push, and kind of rinse and repeat that idea. If you're 2-0 right here, they don't need to not do that. I mean, why would they try to push the issue? I think they're pretty confident with their late game, I guess is where they're getting at. I mean, would you be confident with this Hellborn lineup?
In some regards, yes, and some regards, no. Wild Soul, it sounds weird, but he kind of starts falling off to the point where, he's still a really good hero, but he's not like that early game threat that tears through everyone. So, yes, they can win late game, but then you look at the Legion side with a Gladiator, Malikan, Lodestone. They have the perfect team fighting team. So it's kind of just how BMG ends up playing it, and if they play it properly, they could win this late game pretty easily.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that you always have to think back to is maybe he's not as snowballing. I do get your point there with the Wild Soul. Not as really take over that he can get like we kind of saw this game too. But man, having 12 item slots is a very powerful benefit.
If he gets to that point, then yes.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a problem because it's a whole nother hero they have to deal with.
Exactly. But, I mean, that's a fair point, too, though. It's like, yes, on paper, having 12 item slots is great, but realistically, are we going to actually see that?
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever actually seen that before. So that's also worth keeping in mind. Okay, here we go, though. Showdown pit follow. Doesn't look at that, though. Storm Spirit to counter, so well played.
Wild Soul just picked up a shrunken head before that fight. Before this fight's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. He does. Okay. So he likes the shrunken here. Again, it's understandable, but at the same time, I don't know. I do kind of feel like the Frostos, because Shrunken's, it's great if you can get it off, obviously, but this team does have capability to kind of catch you. Kind of. Okay, well, I don't know. I guess it's good.
Yeah, Shrunken Head's never a bad item. BMG just doesn't have. They don't have too much magic. I don't know if it's enough to warrant a Shrunken Head where, yeah, you said like a Frostwolf might be better, or something with HP involved in it might be better, but it's never a bad item to go. It's never a bad item to go.
Yeah. Grouping up on him again, kind of pushing out the lane here, but I really think 2-0 is just kind of doing this for the sake of keeping BMG in their base, keeping them very at bay here even, and going to ultimately wait for the next Congo before they really try to break into the base. Or I might even be wrong. Maybe they are just going to kind of go for it here as they're feeling good apparently. 3,000 gold up, saved up that is, on Lord South Forest, 2,200 on Magnus here. So they do got a little bit of gold here. Hasn't been spent as they're pushing.
And Malikan doesn't want to buy an item. He wants, that is a beast heart. I guess he just wants the HP.
Did he actually buy, did he sell it? I didn't notice how much gold he had before that.
No, he had 3,900, so he's still,
There's a jump. Wild Soul off the bat takes the ultimate from Deadwood, and look at Wild Soul again. He just drops like it's hot. No shrunken head. Magnus goes down right there. Lord South Forest will fall. Squirry's not learning his lesson, man. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on him. He's, I mean, that's twice in a row now. He's kind of just charged in there in bear form with the bear next to him, and this is a genocide for BMG. Here comes a vote to pause, but yeah.
That's the weakness of Wild Soul. You get caught in bear form, you know, you get punched, you're gonna die. You're not gonna survive. And that was perfect team fight by BMG. You know, they're very good at the team fight here, and they've really done a good job of using their spells properly. And, you know, Lodestone got another 4-man ulti off that fight, so and that always helps.
Yeah, talk about this, again, Solo Volca here stepping in for Boxy. Not easy shoes to fill by any means, but gotta say, you know, really haven't noticed anything not good from him, and seems like his initiations have been just very solid here, these back-to-back fights, and so that feels pretty good for BMG here. But, yeah, I mean, I know half history praising a player like Squirry, you know, throughout history. He definitely is a fun player to watch, plays these unorthodox carries from time to time, and this team in general is fun to watch, but really just have to, I don't know what, like, if this next fight, if he continues to just be in bear form and charging up next to his bear, I just don't know. I mean, you just can't do that. I think it's pretty evident by now that's not going to work here. So
he really needs to just sit in range form in the back and just do damage, because this gold lead's going to go by, it's going to go down really fast. They're going to go farm the whole map out. I know that gold lead's going to be maybe 3K, 4K by the time everyone reses. It's, this game's incredibly close at this point now.
God, I just watched the replay right there. I mean, it really is something when you see the Shatterstorm especially go off from Lodestone on top of both the Wild Soul and the Bear, and yeah, he just melts right as that happens, basically. So, yeah, he's fallen victim to that, and now that's back-to-back fights. And again, even though the stats, at least the gold, suggests that it's a lead for 2-0, it really, I mean, this is definitely now in favor of this Legion side here. Malikan. Yeah, you mentioned the Beast Heart purchase before that, so I mean, I guess it's going to be a full Behemoth Heart here.
Yeah, he still has it. He never sold it, so he bought it, didn't even bring it to the fight. But yeah, I guess it's going to be a Behemoth Heart. But almost then, I think he could just right-click a symbol of rage at this point if he really wanted to. So I don't know if he really wants to do anything with it. He might have just wanted it for that fight, you know, the extra HP. But if he does use it, I guess yeah, it will be a heart. But I'm not sure if I would agree with that entirely. Mm-hmm. I think there's much better items you can go, like the symbol, or if he wants some damage, you know, whatever, you know. He can even go Harkons this game if he really wanted to. Give all the voice talismans, you know, it's not even a bad item choice.
Wow, that's, yeah, no, this is, if there really is an item for Harkons, or a game that is for Harkons, you're absolutely right. This absolutely is that game, so that would be something to see on a hero like Malikan. But, yeah, I mean, he has options here. You also made the great point there about how he bought the Beast Heart, and yet he's still stuck with the Logger's Hatchet going into that fight. Yeah. So don't really know what the idea with that is. But, I mean, there really isn't a good intention there, in my opinion. So, but he has a full Behemoth Heart now.
Okay, so, all right. So it's fine. Like I said, I don't know if that was the best item choice. I definitely think it's a good item choice. It'll definitely help him. But I still think there's better items he could have gone.
I mean, it does go to what we were saying, how they need damage. Like we were even talking about how he should go Rift Shards, because that was before these two fights have now happened, of course. You know, it seems like that they're going to really need kind of a desperate play in terms of just a lot of raw damage here. They've won now back-to-back fights at their base, whether it's been bad positioning or whatever, they have. So now you can say, okay, maybe this route of the Behemoth Heart.
Yeah, it'll definitely keep him alive. It'll let him go in the middle of the team fight and just not melt instantly, so that's always good. Especially with the massive armor he gains from his ulti. He should stay alive with the BKB and, you know, Behemoth Heart for pretty much the whole fight. I'd be pretty surprised if he dies at this point.
Yeah. 3,600 life with that Sanitarius, quite a bit, keeping that on, pointing out with that Behemoth's Heart, so it's it is a good combo in that sense too. You got the Portal Key pickup on Peksu here. I mean, Portal Key Sheepstick, never a bad combination to have, so can't really be against that by any means.
No, definitely not. And it'll be good if they catch Malakin, but, you know, are they going to catch Malakin is the question. And I didn't even notice that. Oh, did you mention that Deadwood picked up the Shrunken, didn't finish the Demonic? Huh.
I did not see that, no.
Wow, okay. So, I mean, never bad against their team, but I figured they wanted the Demonic a little bit more, but I guess Deadwood not dying is more important to them in these team fights.
Yeah, he's definitely consistent damage for the team right now, of course, with that Malakin throughout the fight here. Look at this fight, Baltazar, by the way. He took over the Ice Circle earlier, and I don't know if it's still up, actually. I was looking around for it, but...
Yeah, it is.
It is, yeah.
Right next to the small camp.
There we go. So that's a nice little +8 armor, I believe it is, that he can have applied. He just applied it to himself. Is it 8 armor? Yeah.
Oh, he also got an Enchanter, which is, you know, that's the one that gives the AoE vision.
Yep.
You know, it's a pretty long range, so they're going to be able to see this Kongor going on.
Yep, and I believe he actually just had used it as they were running in right here. He's going to be using it again once. It's only like a 20-second cooldown, or not even that, I believe. So
I think it's 20 or 25. It's something like that.
It's a decent. I mean, for being as powerful as it is, you know, being able to just scout out an area. It's not. And there you go. You see the little fireflies. I guess is a good way to describe it.
Are they going to fight this though? Is the question. They should fight this. There's an ulti, yep.
Magnus stunning first, but goes in Deadwood actually with the shrunken head. You see the background, Shadowstorm going to completely whiff as a result of that too. What a play by Magnus, but Loso still gets a stun, and Lord Forest has to pop that Void Talisman. Wildsoul going at it with Malakin, but Wildsoul able to actually do something in this fight with this shrunken head pop. Malakin's dropping. Malakin with the Behemoth's Heart is still gonna go down. Kongor locking them down, but this is definitely now a one fight for 2-0 right here, and they're gonna finish off Kongor to top it off. What a play from STST, though. If it wasn't for that initial stun, that fight could have actually gone pretty well for BMG.
Yeah, that was a good heads-up play being there. They had vision of that completely, of them walking in. And interestingly enough, Forest didn't even use his ulti on Malakin, and if Malakin switched, you know, to his heal with a symbol, you know, he wouldn't have died there. So that's the questionable pickup on the Behemoth's Heart coming into effect.
Yeah. Now here go the Melee Rex.
Does have a buyback, though.
He does. Lodestone and Torture do not. They do have a call to arms. They are just going to say, okay, it was inevitable. These racks will give those up, but pretty sure they're not going to give up the middle one here. Here goes the call to arms, in fact, from Gladiator. Malakin porting in. What a call to arms. Literally, it's all 5. Oh. And that's a great start here. Malakin ports in. Sword throw on top of that. He does have another ultimate. Gets it used. And Lord Force, nope, pops a Void Talisman. He's on the run. Talking about that item earlier. Shadowstorm, meanwhile, takes out Rhapsody as Lord Force actually does make the escape with the portal key. Gets on out of here. Bubbles also TP's out, and Wildsoul was well alive on the other area. He did lose Boo Boo, but going to be back up in a couple seconds here. So buyback does not get much in the end here.
No, and well, that was the Void Talisman working out for Forest there. So right there, it just saved his life, and you know the item itself might have just been worth it all entirely, because he just lived right there.
Oh, yeah. No, the Void Talisman has no doubt paid off here.
Oh, yeah.
For him and
now, there
team.
was bananas in that Kongor, so I don't know who took them originally.
That's a good point,
Someone took them because they were used. So
I think I got the replay of that Kongor fight, so I'll check that here in a second.
I'm assuming Forest took them, but...
Yeah, well, token obviously on Wildsoul here, as we see.
Yeah.
They are going to fall back. Was there a buyback there? Yeah, Rhapsody bought back, but that's not a huge issue. Enough to scare them off, though, apparently. They'll fall back from there, but yeah, I don't think they really had the intentions to actually try to really break base right there. Yeah, let me check that replay. Here's the Kongor fight, because you are right. That was the third Kongor kill. So Magnus stuns in right as they were going. Deadwood still got the jump, but obviously with just him, wasn't able. You know, Deadwood actually might have ultied Boo Boo on mistake. I have to rewatch that replay, but I think that might have actually happened.
The bear does share damage to Wildsoul.
Yeah, that's true.
But it doesn't steal his strength. So if it was on purpose, I guess I don't know. It still makes sense to punch the hero. Yeah, it must have been accidental.
I mean, they're on top of each other, so it really would not
yeah,
surprise
you might
me
just.
if he
It might have just
misclicked.
been an accidental misclick.
I'm watching it again right here. I do not get it to where Kongor died, so I don't know who actually got the token right there. It's hard to tell, but I think he might have actually gotten Boo Boo. So,
Okay.
but yeah, and not that that would have been game changing by any means, but
Yeah, the game-changing part was STSD getting the big stun off and just stopping all of Legion's initiation.
yeah. Well, now they are pushing back once again. The token, of course, on Wild Soul. Now he has 5,000 gold. I mean, you got to spend this gold if you're going to push it, especially.
Yeah,
see.
I think he's kind of wondering himself what he wants to go. Frostwolf's never a bad option on that hero.
I think like a Wingbow here actually could be decent.
Or yeah, Wingbow's actually pretty good this game. I could see why he would go it. I'm just wondering if he wants the extra HP. If he's so adamant on standing in bear form, he's dying to AOE. He's not really dying to the auto. Well, kind of is sort of dying to the autos, but
Yeah.
they could just focus his bear in that case, and he'll take the damage. So it's kind of, eh. The Wingbow's not a bad choice though. It could be a good item this game. We'll have to see what he goes though.
How about Gladiator, by the way? Doing Rift Shards here, level 1, so kind of transition a little bit more to a damage threat himself. Here we go, though. Ing jumps in the back row, Deadwood. Protective Melody doing work as always. Here comes the Shadow Storm, but the Protective Melody absorbing so much. Here's the call to arms, so he hit Wild Soul, and Booba goes down. So does Wild Soul. He is going to come back up, but again, no bear this time. He can't go ultimate form, and now he's in trouble. He can't go ultimate form, but not as impactful, and yep, he is going to fall right here in the end. As they definitely hold once again. I mean, this is definitely turning out to be one of these just back and forth battles, man. It's just,
And
we don't know.
there was a whip crit there from Gladiator.
Was there?
So those Rift Shards did end up coming in handy.
All right, so yeah, he got those going into the fight. Coming through
now-
big time.
We'll have to see. They should be able to break base here. I mean, they do have a buyback on Wild Soul and South Forest, but hopefully they can at least force the buybacks out of it. That would be pretty good.
Is it almost weird to suggest that Boo Boo is almost a hindrance right now to Wild Soul?
Yes. Which is, that's the main weakness of Wild Soul when it comes to these late game fights is he's going to die to AoE if the bear is, with him. So in a lot of ways, that's why it's better to not be in the melee form, at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Especially,
Oh, how about that jump? Bubbles, he gets the Void Talisman off, but it was well too late. Burst already happens. Here we go, Wild Soul, though, coming back into the fight, using the buyback right here. Call to arms. It's been huge throughout this whole game. Possibly huge once again right here. Although Malik and Brutalizer procs going on to him. But now he's able to get some on attack. Shadow Storm coming in as well. Wild Soul in trouble. He's going to be exposed right here. Out comes the ultimate, the Undying onto Malikan, though. Malikan in trouble now himself. And he will end up falling. The Protective Melody yet again from Xerox doing work. Down goes Lodestone. Deadwood is going to fall on top of it. Wild Soul does manage to live. A hat trick for Pexu. Actually on Lord Salforce, and now it's 2-0's turn to do work once again, and make it a quad kill, he says, as he takes out Torture.
this is the most confusing game I've ever watched.
It is.
One team will just completely dominate a team fight, then the other team will dominate the next team fight. It's just, this game will not end. I think at this point, it's just not going to end.
I feel like we've been having a bit of these, man. And I don't know if it just has to do with the competition right now in our Diamond Division. It really is just so, kind of not a lot of variance in terms of just competition at, again, the skill level of the teams and whatnot. They're able to compete very well against one another.
Yeah.
I think that has a bit to do with it here. So, we saw several base races. In fact, it was last weekend coming out, including longer matches and back and forth. So, continuing that trend, and guess what? Here we go again. Deadwood jumping in. Lord Salforce starting the year with a Storm Spirit. Puts that Undying on him. Malikan. They do kill Deadwood, and now it's Malikan's turn. He can't lifesteal right here. He's now on the Sheepstick as well, and he is on the run, trying to port out with a sword throw. He will get away and ultimately survive, but the Rax goes down. Boo Boo falls. Not really a concern at this time, though. So now it seems like 2-0 again. They are kind of breaking through here a bit. Now bringing up 2 Rax to the none. That could set it over the edge that they needed here.
Yeah, and South Forest has 6.6k golds, and so does Wild Soul.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 big items are going to come out here, and that might have been the big swing, unless the Legion team has another big team fight up their sleeves.
Way this game's going,
I think he is
maybe.
going to Archons. I think he just bought the Arcana.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Malikan, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. It
And
makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that does build in the Harkons. So yeah, it looks like he's going to try to finish the Harkons, and that could be the item that changes the game if he can get that before this next team fight. Because he has no more buybacks anyway, so he's kind of all in at this point.
7,000 golden wild, so screw it again. Just very in fact, he's sitting in the well right here, so he's no doubt kind of looking through or wondering, talking over with the team, what should I get next? Frostfield play on Lord South Forest is his answer.
That's a great pickup. They have 4 melees.
So much armor.
That's a great pickup. That's going to cause big problems. But then again, you know, now Balthazar is going the Harkons and the Wingbow. So you were right. The Wingbow was picked up by Wild Soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, Malakin's going the Harkons at this point. So
Yep.
how useful is that Frostfield going to end up being?
The use of it's
Still
great.
good. Yeah, it still has the good use of, you know, the 4 melees. You know, they can't hit you now.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting slowed. So it's still a good item. Hopefully Malakin can just do damage with it, though. Hopefully that'll be it. If he can sit there in the back and just get all the damage in, then they could win the next team fight.
You know, really, as far as kind of keeping BMG in this game, I know Malik, you know, being the carrier, they usually get a lot of that attention for that, but I gotta say, Rudolph's on Gladiator here. He's Call to Arms as an ability in general is, of course, very strong. We know this here. He's landed some big ones, man, throughout this game.
Yeah, and it's also the reason why Malakin's been living in so many of these fights.
Yeah, exactly, the buff that it applies.
And also, Make's been doing a really good job this game of even creating enough space to make this game possible.
Yeah. Double damage rune is up here. They're wondering who's going to take it. I don't know if they have a bottle or anything. It doesn't look like it. Gonna just protect it for now, I guess. Maybe pick it up on Wild Soul when it's time. Or no, couriers are coming over, so maybe they will have a bottle. Pick it up here. Just gonna again protect it for now. But as we see on the minimap, I mean, BMG nowhere remotely close to that area. They're simply having to push out this bottom and the middle lanes. Malakin, I want to say, has enough for the Harkons. Or no, he is still just shy.
I don't know the exact price of it.
It's he needs the 2,700 for the Acolyte staff and another 500, so 3,200 he'll need here.
Yeah, yeah, he's only 200 off. It's not too bad.
200 off. He won't have a buyback, of course, but it's definitely one of the scale. I mean, he needs it. He needs that Archon, so
yeah,
he can't worry about a buyback here at the cost of not getting it. Oh my gosh! Double damage Wild Soul with that wing bow into Kongor.
Yeah, that's gonna drop pretty quick. I'm assuming they're going to give him the token, and they're going to give Forrest the bananas. Oh, BMG wants to fight it, though.
Yep, this is their chance. A lot of Filterod. Here we go. Oh, my God, there's so many white circles all over the place. Lodestone, jumping in. They catch Wild Soul. Protectability. What a possession from Sirox. That's going to save everything on a Wild Soul. In the background, Kelphil comes out. They finally stop him, but the damage was done in the sense of preventing it on a Wild Soul. He holds his ground. The life steal kicking in. Can he stay alive? No, he cannot. He will fall when it's all said and done, but Malakin also low. The target alive. Who's going to get it? It's still on the ground, I believe. It might have got destroyed, actually. I think it actually got killed.
I think Malakin ended up killing it.
Yeah.
I believe so.
He says, if I'm dying, nobody gets it.
Wow. They're going to lose their base, though, if they don't start buying back.
I mean, they
only have one buyback.
Yeah. And Wild Soul just bought back.
Yeah. That was an amazing protective melody from Rhapsody there. That was the game changer. Oh, there it is.
It's like
that was it. That was the fight. That Rhapsody ult did so much work there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the replay right here because that was just insane. The positioning was perfect. I mean, he ports onto the cliff. She just got that portal key this last going into this last fight here, and talk about great timing for that. Because without that protective melody, Wild Soul dies right off the bat, and that fight is a completely different fight here.
Oh yeah, BMG would have ran over that fight, and they would have token and bananas on whoever they so choose. So that's the power of Rhapsody there. That right there is the power of Rhapsody.
Yep. Well played from Sirox. So, whew, what a game, though. Again, we had a great one at that, and 2-0 comes through, though, in the end. Hell of an effort from them. It's just a back-and-forth slugfest, it seems like. I mean, 2-0 definitely had a little bit more control throughout. I mean, they got the racks, eventually the 2 in the end, but